It's a rah-rah, get everybody excited. We're here, we're fighting for, to get Trump elected, etc. We're here to have a Republican takeover, all of that stuff. I heard Governor Youngkin. I heard Senator Scott, Tim Scott. I couldn't listen to Rick Scott. But the most important part of the convention was Sean O'Brien of the Teamsters going to be a guest speaker. And here's what he had to say on Fox News.
Ryan joins me right now. In case that doesn't ring a bell to a lot of you, I should point out he is the Teamsters General President, and you're probably thinking, then what the heck is he doing at the Republican National Convention? Well, he's going to speak to that convention tonight, but first he's speaking to us. Sean, very good to have you.
Great to see you, sir.
You could almost look like a fish out of water. How do you feel there?
I feel great. I feel very confident. Look, I'm here representing working people in America. I'm here representing the greatest union in the entire country. And my message is clear. We want to make certain that people understand, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or Independent, how important it is to respect working class America, and also, to encourage bipartisan participation on issues that face working people.
That statement alone is fantastic. That is exactly what you want to say. And the reason you go to the RNC convention is because you have to create leverage. The Democrats always take for granted the fact that they think that, or vice versa, that unions are only going to support them, and vice versa. It is so crystal clear that this is why you lose, because you do not create leverage. What Sean O'Brien is doing is right. He's not going there endorsing Trump for president. He's going there saying, working people need help, and if you're not going to provide it, I'm going to go somewhere where they think they're getting it. Because even if Trump is full of shit, which most of the time he is, at least he's getting lip service. Now, what does lip service do? Lip service creates momentum and creates energy, even if it's bullshit. But what it does do is it creates people just the feeling that, well, maybe something good could possibly happen, and let's fight for it. On the other side, you're not fighting for anything. You're just like, you're a Teamster. You got to be a Democrat, no matter what. And we're not doing anything for you. Now, in some cases, the labor movement has benefited during the Biden administration. There's no question the NLRB is as good now as it's probably been since the 1960s, and that's a great thing. But that's not everything. There was a signature policy that President Biden needed to push through in his first 100 days, and he didn't do it, didn't even try. And that was the PRO Act. We needed to end right-to-work laws in this country so that you can properly negotiate for your labor rights. That should have been number one, more than your $15 minimum wage, with all due respect. That would have created an opening for trades. It would have created an opening for everything. And he didn't do it. He should have put his entire presidency on the line for the PRO Act. He didn't do it. And now today, as a result, you have Sean O'Brien, who was at the Republican National Convention with, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the Teamsters are the biggest union. We'll continue.
Obviously, you raised this issue with Donald Trump. You want the same opportunity to speak to Democratic conventioners when they gather in August. What has Joe Biden told you about that convention?
I haven't heard anything, sir. The last time I was on your show, we talked about how we asked both the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention. The Republican National Convention welcomed me. I'm still waiting here on the Democratic National Convention. And look, it's controversial. We understand that. But, the reality is our system's broken right now, and we're divided right down the middle. I've got a constituency of 1.3 million members, half vote Republican, half vote Democrat. So we've got to serve both equally.
So
that is a great answer. And again, he's speaking the truth 100%. This is a broken country, no question. And he has got to go where his rank and file are. He has a rank and file that supports both the GOP and the Democratic Party. In reality, a lot of them are probably inclined to support Trump and somebody like Bernie Sanders. If good is done, then that's what will result in more people supporting the Democratic Party than the Republican Party. But even still, you have to go out there and create as much momentum as you can. You can't stop. You got to keep going. And that's obviously what he's done. We'll continue.
You have not heard back from the White House on speaking at the convention, the Democratic convention, after all this time? We spoke first over a month ago.
We did, yes. No, we haven't heard anything. Crickets.
What does that tell you? Are you offended?
No, I'm not offended at all. Look, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I have no problem working with people that are going to help support working people. Look, I'm getting criticized from the left. I'm getting criticized from the far right. And at the end of the day, you know, we've got to do what's best for this country, number one, and working people. And I believe it's to work bipartisan-wise to find solutions to problems. Often, two times, you know, we take a position each side, and you know, there's a line drawn in the sand. It's not working, so the system's broken. We need to fix it. And I'm committed to working with anybody that's going to support working people, but more importantly, this country. We live in the greatest country in the world, and we need to make certain that we protect it. We need to make sure we preserve it. More importantly, promote it.
Well, it says a lot that Donald Trump was very interested in hearing from you and letting conventioneers hear from you. He didn't wait a month to say yes or no.
Mm-hmm. No, and I'm sure he got criticized for when the announcement happened. You know, the far right, you know, called him to rescind the invitation, and thankfully he had the courage and conviction not to do that. I hope the Democrats give us the same opportunity. You know, we've supported the Democrats for the last 20 years, unwavering, much to you know, a lot of dissatisfaction within the union. And again, I'll state clearly, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but you know, times have changed. You know, wants and needs need to be addressed, regardless whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent.
And again, that is another great answer because, again, even though there is still a significant portion of the GOP that is anti-union, I mean, I don't know if that could be any more clear. They are very much still in favor of the Chamber of Commerce, not of necessarily the labor workers and so on. It's, you know, again, but things change. And I think creating this leverage, I think what Sean O'Brien is doing is absolutely correct. I think these things are necessary. You cannot just assume that everything is going to be perfectly acceptable as it stands, because it isn't. The idea that the president has not even offered a speaking spot for the Teamsters at their convention, not a good sign. I don't blame Trump for saying, we should totally have him come and speak at my convention. My party's great and you should come. And he decided to come to the Trump party, because that's what that is. You got to fight for your workers. And a lot of these labor unions, they don't fight for them. How do I know? Because you got ones down here that are endorsing Debbie Wasserman Schultz over Jen Perlman. How much do they really care about their workers? Not enough at all. So O'Brien continues to prove that he's a badass, and we'll see what else he has to say.
So, you know, you're also an astute reader of the tea leaves here. And you know, in the past, regardless what leadership at your union or other unions have recommended for president, the sort of rank and file, the core members of which you started out as one, generally did prefer and like Republicans, certainly by much greater numbers than was reflected in union endorsements. Is the same true at Teamsters? You have many more members who like Donald Trump than they do Joe Biden.
Well, I don't know if that's accurate. I mean, we're doing polling right now. We've done a lot of polling as far as, you know, reaching out to a certain demographic. We've also done polling, straw poll meetings within the 331 locals that we represent in the United States. And currently, by the end of this month, we have a publication that goes out to 1.6 million active and retired Teamsters, which will have a QR code, which will give us a good gauge on where we're at. But, you know, it is neck and neck right now. And again, you know, it's a decision that's going to be made with a lot of transparency and, most importantly, inclusiveness of the rank and file members.
What more could you ask for? That's the way it should be everywhere. This shouldn't be up for debate, but apparently it needs to be. Apparently, the rank and file are not supposed to make decisions based on what's in the best interest of their union. Sean O'Brien is saying, I am not here to support Donald Trump. I am here to see who supports labor. And if his rank and file say, we want you to support Donald Trump, then that's it. It doesn't make it right, but that's where we've come to as a nation.